In a quiet little village by the side of a great river lived a man named Hassan. The river was wide and strong. Some days its surface looked calm, like glass reflecting the sky. Other days it turned wild, with waves crashing against its banks, reminding everyone of its hidden power. The river was the heart of the village. Farmers came to it to water their crops, children played near its edge, and traders crossed it with their goods. And Hassan, the boatman, was the one who carried them safely across. Every morning, before the first light of dawn touched the horizon, Hassan tied his old wooden boat to the shore. He checked the ropes, ran his hand across the worn wood, and whispered a short prayer. As the village woke, people came one by one, farmers with baskets of vegetables, traders with heavy sacks, children carrying books for school. Hassan rowed them across, steady and silent, his strong arms guiding the boat through the water that others feared. To the villagers, he was dependable, trustworthy, almost part of the river itself. But inside, Hassan carried something heavy, something that no one could see. His heart bore a weight that years could not wash away. His face was calm, his hands steady, but his eyes told another story. Behind those quiet eyes lived sorrow, guilt, and an ache that never left him. Years earlier, Hassan had a younger brother named Bilal. The two boys had grown up together on the river's banks. They were inseparable, like two branches of the same tree. They chased each other through fields, skipped stones on the water, and dreamed about the future. Hassan was protective, always watching over Bilal, while Bilal was full of laughter and energy. Their parents often smiled at the bond between them. But one summer afternoon, everything changed. The river that usually brought life to the village turned into a force of destruction. The current was fast, slowed from heavy rains upstream. Hassan had warned Bilal not to go near it that day. The river is angry, he said. Stay away until it calms. But Bilal was young, fearless, and playful. He laughed, splashed in the shallow water, and shouted, See, brother, I can handle it. In the blink of an eye, the current pulled him deeper. Bilal's laughter turned into cries for help. Hassan leapt into the water without a thought. He fought the current, his muscles burning, his lungs screaming for air. He reached for Bilal's hand, but the river was too strong. By the time he pulled his brother toward the shore, it was too late. Bilal's small body was still, his laughter gone forever. That day carved a scar into Hassan's heart. He blamed himself again and again. If only I had held him back. If only I had run faster. If only I had been stronger. Those words repeated in his mind like a curse. As the years passed, Hassan changed. He no longer laughed by the fire with friends. He no longer joined in festivals or sang the songs of the harvest. Instead, he worked silently, ferrying people across the river but keeping his own heart locked away. The villagers respected him, but they whispered among themselves about how he had gone so quiet, so distant. They knew he had suffered, but no one knew how to ease his burden. One morning, as Hassan prepared his boat, a little girl ran to the shore. Her name was Amina, a bright-eyed child of 7 with tangled hair and a curious spirit. She climbed into his boat before he could say a word and sat beside him with a smile. Uncle Hassan, she asked softly, why do you always look so sad? The question struck Hassan like lightning. Adults never asked such things. They respected his silence. But a child, innocent and bold, had spoken the truth he tried so hard to hide. He hesitated, then finally whispered, I carry something heavy, little one, something from yesterday. Amina tilted her head, thinking carefully. Then she said words that would echo in Hassan's soul forever. But uncle, if you keep carrying yesterday, how will you see today? Hassan froze, the words in his hands felt heavier than ever. He looked at her, then at the river, unable to answer. That day, he rode in silence, but her words did not leave him. They followed him home, into his dreams, into the silence of the night. That evening, Hassan sat alone by the river bank. The sun set slowly, painting the water with gold and orange. The current carried leaves and broken branches forever, never pausing, never looking back. Hassan watched him, and for the first time in years, he began to understand. The river does not hold on, he thought. It lets everything flow, but I have been holding my past like stones in my boat. My boat was built to carry people, not to sink under the weight of memories. Tears filled his eyes. For years, he had rowed across the river, helping others reach the other side, while he himself remained trapped on the shore of his own sorrow. He realized he had been rowing with chains around his heart. That night, Hassan made a decision. He could not change the past, he could not bring Bilal back, but he could change the way he carried the memory. He could honor his brother by living fully, not by drawing in guilt. The next morning, the air felt fresh and new. The sun rose gently, and the river looked calm, as if to understand his decision. Hassan stepped into his boat, touched the wooden seat worn by years of use, and took a deep breath. For the first time in years, a smile broke across his face. When Amina came running again, she stopped and gasped. "Uncle Hassan," she cried, "you are smiling." Hassan laughed softly. His voice sounded lighter, freer. "Yes, Amina," he said, "the river taught me something." "What did it teach you?" she asked eagerly. Hassan looked at the flowing water and replied that no matter how heavy yesterday feels, we must let it go, or we will never see today. From that day forward, Hassan began to change. He still ferried villagers across the river, but now he greeted them with warmth. He joined conversations, told stories, and never laughed even again. At night, he sat by the fire with others, sharing food and listening to songs. The villagers noticed the change and felt joy in seeing their boatman alive again, not just in body but in spirit. Yet Hassan did not forget Bilal. He still thought of his brother, but no longer with crushing guilt. Instead, he remembered his laughter, his playfulness, and his dreams. He honored him by living a life of kindness, patience, and wisdom. Whenever he saw children playing near the river, he warned them gently, guiding them with care but without fear. He wanted them to be safe, to enjoy the river's beauty without suffering as he had. And sometimes, when the sun set over the water, he whispered to Bilal in his heart, "I carry you not as a burden, but as a blessing." The story of Hassan spread quietly through the village. People began to see him not just as a boatman, but as a man who had faced deep sorrow and chosen life over despair. His journey inspired others to reflect on their own burdens. A farmer who lost his crop to floods found hope again. A widow who mourned her husband began to smile with her children. Hassan's transformation reminded them that pain is real, but so is healing. Years later, when Amina grew older, she often told her friends, "Uncle Hassan taught me the greatest lesson, that yesterday is a lesson, not a life sentence." And those words stayed with her just as her innocent question had once stayed with him. Because this is the truth, we all carry burdens, regrets, mistakes, losses, and pain. We carry them in our hearts, hoping somehow they will change if we hold on tightly enough. But holding on does not heal us, it only keeps us trapped. The past cannot be erased, but it can be accepted. Like the river keeps moving forward. The river does not stop to grieve a fallen branch. It carries it gently downstream and makes a space for tomorrow's flow. We must do the same. We must honor our past, learn from it, but not let it sink our boats. Hassan's story teaches us that letting go is not about forgetting. It is choosing to live. It is choosing freedom over chains, peace over guilt, and today over yesterday. So ask yourself, what stones are you carrying in your boat? What memories or regrets weight you down? And what might your life look like if you finally place them in the river and let them drift away? Remember this: yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not here yet. Today is yours. Do not waste it carrying burdens that the river itself has already let go. Live simply, live fully, and like Hassan, learn to smile again.